जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So today is a Saturday. It is 27th of December. It is Narayana Masa or Paushya Masa, Sukla Paksham Ashtami Tithi. There are no Vaishnava events in the calendar, so we shall move into our daily Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Brahma, he is offering his praise to the Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu for his creative power. So in that shloka, so in one of those prayers yesterday, he was mentioning, "Oh my dear Lord, you are the root of this cosmic manifestation." So and then you expand yourself as the Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara as a three main branches, and then further they expand further into so many other branches like that. यो वा अहं च गिरिशश्च विभुः स्वयं च स्थिति उद्भव प्रलय हेतव आत्ममूलं भित्त्वा त्रिपाद बहुवृद एक उरुप्रहः तस्मै नमो भगवते भुवनध्रुमाय. Bhunadhrumaya. Dhruma is a tree. Bhunadhruma is the cosmic tree. So for that one, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, three branches. And then for their functions are creation, maintenance, and dissolution. For everything, Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu is the root. So during the annihilation time, everything will be merged within the Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. Okay, so further in that sequence, Lord Brahma today in his prayers, he is mentioning that, my dear Lord, in this material world, people are subjected to the worldly affairs and they are very active and always engaged in the materialist activities, so much of enthusiasm in it, but ignoring the instructions that you have given in the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Without following those, and they are enthusiastically participating in the materialistic activities, as thinking that they are the body and whatever is in and around, it is only for their sense gratification. In such a way, they will make so many plans, and at the end, all of their plans will be cut to pieces because they have not taken your instructions. Because there is no Krishna consciousness in those activities. So, all of their plans will be cut to pieces. In such a way, Brahma is mentioning, and here in the previous shloka, Brahma addressed the Lord as Bhonadhrumaya. In this shloka, he is addressing the Lord Animishaya. And in the next shloka, he will address him as the Adimakhaya. So, the Lord of the time and Lord of the sacrifices, Lord of the cosmic tree. In so many ways, Brahma is addressing the Lord. Okay? It is again the beauty of it. Okay, so we are in the Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, chapter 9, verse number 17. लोको विकर्म निरतः कुशले प्रमत्तः कर्मण्ययं त्वदुदिते भवदर्चने स्वे यस्तावदस्य बलवानिह जीविताशां सद्यः चिनत्ति अनिमिषाय नमोऽस्तु तस्मै. So Animishaya Namostu Tasmai. So very beautiful. He is addressing the Lord Animishaya and Namostu Tasmai. In the previous shloka, Tasmai Namo Bhagavate Bhonadhrumaya. In a different angles, he is offering obeisances. Okay. Loko vikarma nirataha kushale pramattaha. Lokaha is the people in general. Vikarma nirataha and work without sense. Vikarma is one has to follow Grihastha Dharma. Swadharmacharanam Sikcha, Vidharmacha Nivattanam. Akarma, Vikarma, and Sakarma. So there are karma different. Vikarma is the actions which are prohibited. So Vikarma, work without sense. Vikarma nirataha, engaged in. Loko Vikarma nirataha, Kushale Pramattaha. Kushale is the in beneficial activity, Pramattaha, negligent. So they're always engaged in the activities which are nonsensical, and they will ignore the beneficial activities. What is the beneficial activities? It is the Atmajna, knowing about the self and recognizing everyone or the souls. This is what it is required. This is the kushale, the beneficial activity, but they are negligent about those things. Loko vikarma niritaha kushale pramattaha. Karmanyayam tvadbudite bhavadachane swe. Karmani, and in the activities I am this tvadbudite, by you, tvadbudite, enunciated. Bhagavad Achane Swe, Bhavad Achane Swe. Of you, Achane in worshipping, Shwe their own. And here, Tvad Budite Bhavad. And Lord has given so many instructions. Budite, Lord spoke Bhagavad Gita, so many other instructions as part of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Karmani Ayam Tvad Budite Bhavadachane Swe. And then, Yasta Yastavad Asya Bhalavaniha Iha Jivitasham. Yaha is the who, Tavad, as long as, Asya of those people in general, Balavaniha, Balavan, very strong, Iha, in this world, Jivitasham, struggle for existence. They struggle for existence. So until they come to take the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, they're always going through different kinds of material miseries. And Sadyah Chinatti Animishaya Namosu Tasmai Sadyah. Sadyah is that directly Chinatti is cut to pieces. Animishaya by the eternal time. Namostu Tasmai. And I am offering my obeisances onto that Supreme Personality of Godhead who is acting as a eternal time, and then made their plans to cut to pieces all the materialistic people who are not following the Vedic injunctions or the instructions of the Lord, like Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Loko vikarma niritaha kushale pramattaha karmanyayam tudbudite bhavadachane sve yastavadasya balvaniha jivitasham sajjaha chinatti animishaya namostu tasmai. That translation. People in general all engage in foolish acts, not in the real beneficial activities enunciated directly by you for their guidance. As long as their tendency for foolish work remains powerful, all their plans in the struggle for existence will be cut to pieces. I therefore offer my obeisances unto him who acts as eternal time. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Can I request Prabhavati Sachi Mataji to read the purport, please?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, devotees. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. People in general are all engaged in senseless work. They are systematically unmindful of the real beneficial work, which is the devotional service of the Lord, technically called the Archana regulations. The Archana regulations are directly instructed by the Lord in the Narada Pancharatra and are strictly followed by the intelligent men who know well that the highest perfectional goal of life is to reach Lord Vishnu, who is the root of the tree called the cosmic manifestation. Also in the Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita, such regulative activities are clearly mentioned. Foolish people do not know that their self interest is in realization of Vishnu. The Bhagavatam 7.7 Canto, 5th chapter 30 to 32 verse says, Matirena Krishne Parataha Swatova Mito Abhipaditye Mito Abhipadyeta Graha Vratanam Adantagobir Vishatam Tamishram Punaha Punaha Charvita Charvananam Nate Viduhu Swartha Gatim Hi Vishnum Durasayeye Bahir Artha Maninaha Andayata Andadir Upaniya Manasa Te Apisha Tantriam Uru Uru Urudamni Baddaha Naisham Matis Tavat Urukrama Angrim Spur sorry Spr Spr how do you spell pronounce this Prabhuji?
Yes,
Sprishyati.
yes.
Prishyati.
Sprushiti.
Sprishyati, yeah.
Yes, Mataji.
Sprishyati antar antartha apagamo yad artham mahiyasam padarajo abhishekam nishkinchananam na vranita yavat. Persons who are determined to totally rot in false material happiness cannot become Krishna minded either by instructions from teachers, by self realization, or by parliamentary discussions. They are dragged by the unbridled senses into the darkest region of ignorance, and thus they madly engage in what is called chewing the chewed. Because of their foolish activities, they are unaware that the ultimate goal of human life is to achieve Vishnu, the Lord of the cosmic manifestation, and so their struggle for existence is in the wrong direction of material civilization, which is under the external energy. They are led by similar foolish persons, just as one blind man is led by another blind man, and both fall in the ditch. Such foolish men cannot be attached towards the activities of the Supreme Powerful, who is actually the neutralizing measure for their foolish activities, unless and until they have the good senses to be guided by the great souls who are completely freed from material attachment. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord asks everyone to give up all other occupational duties and absolutely engage in archana activities or in pleasing the Lord. But almost no one is attached to such archana activity. Everyone is more or less attracted by activities which are conditions of rebellion against the Supreme Lord. The system of jnana and yoga are also indirectly rebellious acts against the Lord. There is no auspicious activity except Archana of the Lord. Jnana and Yoga are sometimes accepted within the purview of Archana when the ultimate aim is Vishnu and not otherwise. The conclusion is that only the devotees of the Lord are bona fide human beings eligible for salvation. Others are vainly struggling for existence without any actual benefit. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you. Sorry for the mistakes. Sir.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Very nicely read. Thank you so much. Okay, so in this purport, this is again. So Rupa Goswami says, and I think in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Anasaktasya Vishyan Yatarham Upayanjitaha Nirbhande Krishna Sambhande Yukta Vairagyam Uchyate. That is Yukta Vairagyam. Nirbhande Krishna Sambhande. One has to execute all Krishna consciousness activities. Nirbandhe Krishna Sambandhe Yukta Vairagyam Uchyate. Anasakta Isya Vishayan, all the materialistic activities. So, people in general are all engaged in senseless work. They are systematically unmindful of the real beneficial work, which is uh, which is the devotional service of the Lord. They are systematically unmindful of the real beneficial work, which is the devotional service of the Lord, technically called Archana regulations. So here, Jnane prayasa udapasya namanta eva. So that one of the shloka of Lord Brahma, he prays to Krishna. That one is the Jnane prayasam udapasya namanta eva jivanti shanmukaritam bhavadiya vartam स्थान्ये सिताः सुतिगतां तनुवान् मनोभिः ये प्रायसो अजितजितोऽप्यसि तैस्त्रिलोक्याम्. So this is jnane prayasam udpasya namanta eva. So uh, even leaving aside jnane prayasam, the knowledge and our mental speculative activities, throw away the process of speculative knowledge and with their body, words, and mind of respectful description, respects to descriptions of your personality and activities. So this is uh, where does this all the jnana and ends with? So it engage in the activity with the Krishna consciousness. In the Krishna consciousness, one would be working to please their lordships. So this process called the Archana regulations. This is Archana regulations. It is directly instructed by the Lord in the Narada Pancharatra and are strictly followed by the intelligent man. So when we go to the temple, all these Archana regulations are followed strictly. Okay, waking early morning 4:30, so Mangalachan praise. Open the curtain and then do the Mangalarati. So this is and all devotees attend and then starting from Samsaradava Nalila Loda Nalilid Haloka. So that Guru Astakam. They start the day with the Guru Astakam and then greetings to the Lord later and Guru Puja. These are all strictly followed by the intelligent man. They are these are described in the Narada Pancharatra. And here, intelligent men who know well that highest perfectional goal of life is to reach Lord Vishnu, and who is the root of the tree called the cosmic manifestation, Bhonadhrumaya, the Lord. Tad Vishnuho Paramam Padam Yada Pasyanti Surayaha Diviva Chakshuratam. Everyone are looking to attain the abode of Lord Vishnu. So that is by Madhyashna Darshana Sparsha Puja Sati Abhivandanaihi Bhuteshu Madbhavanaya Satven Asangamen Cha Adhyatmik Anushravanad Nama Sankirtanachami Arjaven Adisanghena Nirham Kriya Tadha. Likewise, Kapil Bhagavan describes about devotional service, how to engage oneself in the deity worship and then associating with the devotees in the temple and then speaking Krishna Katha in the temple Adhyatmik Anushravanat, Nama Sankirtanachami, and glorifying the Lord, doing bhajans in the temple, like that. And here, those are the real activities, the knowledge in practicality. Knowledge, it come into the practicality. So, in our systems, in our tradition, Sanatana Dharma, why we have got so many temples throughout the world? Why just only Bhagavad Katha is being spoken? Bhagavad Katha and also Pancharatra, Narada Pancharatra, these Archa Vigraha, these are the two different parallel processes. So that's why Krishna consciousness is so powerful and strong. If you look at some of the uh, different kinds of spiritual activities, some people have got only one thing, Bhagavad Katha is going on, but Archa Vigraha, Archana, It may not be there, but some temples they have got Acha Vigraha and those things are there, but Bhagavad Katha is it may not be there. But most of the temples they accommodate. So, but who takes to engage themselves in the devotional service, like going to the temple, actually serve the Lord in the temple and in and around, and serve the devotees of the Lord. One side serve the devotees of the Lord, and then once they get tired, and then take prasadam, come and sit in among the temple and hear Krishna Katha, sing the glories of the Lord, bhajans and those things. So such a way life can be so perfect. That's why we got so many temples throughout in India, but temples are so many are emanating, still emanating. Devotees are constructing so many temples only to give and benedict the people in general with all auspicious activity. So knowing that even though they do not have to know complete knowledge of Vedic injunctions, simply if the temple is there, people who does not get a chance to enter into the knowledge, they can go to the temple, take the flowers and coconut and then some camphor and then offer it to the Lord. Flowers, patram pushpam palam toyam yomi bhaktya prayachati. So when they go to the temple and then offer their obeisances and then do dandavat pranam and then take prasadam and sit in the temple environment for some time and then come home and live life happily as per the regulations. Simple. There was not much knowledge is also required in the just if you look back into another 25 or 30 years back, that is the village life. Still, it is going on in the village life. People, as soon as festivals comes, they go to the temple, taking all this paraphernalia, and then worship the Lord and come home and leave. But however, what they do. They still engage in the prohibited activities as well because of lack of knowledge. Though they're one side they are acting in the auspicious activities, but other side they are also because of lack of knowledge. They engage themselves in the vikarma, accepting the food products which are prohibited and acting in the different karmic activities without by their personal intelligence, personal thoughts. That is where the problem comes into the picture. So for those instructions, when they go through the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, they will be enlightened. Then whatever the activity they are doing, going to the temple and everything, it will be purified as well. So here in the Bhagavatam and Bhagavad, such regulative principles are clearly mentioned. Foolish people do not know that their self-interest is in realization of Vishnu. So here, I think, yeah, Prahlad Maharaj in his prayers, he mentions, Matirna Krishne Parataha Swatova. Matirna Krishne. So just going back to those things, Matirna Krishne, they do not think of Krishna when they are acting. Likewise, 7:5:30. We'll just go into that Prahlad instructions. Matirna Krishne Parataha Swatova. Parataha. What is that? Again, 30. So here, Parataha from the instructions of the other, Swatova, and from their own understanding. So here, Na Krishna Matir, the inclination to hear about the instructions of the Lord. Matir Na Krishna Parataha Swatova. So Krishna here, Prahlada, uh, so Prahlad Maharaj is saying Krishna, he is using the word Krishna here. Matirna Krishne Parataha Swatova Mito Abhipadyeta. Mitaha is the one and talking to each other from combined effort. So devotees come together and discuss the topics. Mito Abhipadyeta Gruhavratanam. Abhipadyet is developed Gruhavratanam of persons too addicted to the materialistic bodily conception of life. If they come together, they speak about how are you, all bodily things, all the relations things. That is what the where the problem. And then after they speak for some time, and later on some other Eve concepts or show off concepts, those things will come and misunderstandings, and then after a few days there is no talks between those two people. If there is too much of addicted, again they go further more deep into the relations and then addicted to some sense gratificatory activities. They do not come out either this way or that way. Both are inauspicious. They are gruhvratanam, too much addicted to materialistic bodily concept of life. And then with that, Adanta Gobir Vishtam Tamishram, Adhanta Gobir, uncontrolled Gobihi by the senses, uncontrolled senses, Vishitam Tamishram, they entering into the hellish life. Vishitam Tamishram. Tamishram is one of the hellish planets, hellish condition of life. That one we could see in the later chapters in the fifth canto, uh, where about when we are going through the hellish planets, Tamishram, Adanta Gobir, Vishitam, Tamishram, Punaha Punaha Charvita Charvananam. Again and again, things that they are already chewed, again they are chewing, which are already chewed, there is no taste in it, but still chewing. That is how their Prahlad Maharaja is mentioning. And then further, Nate Viduhu Swadhagatim. Nate viduhu swadhagatim hi Vishnu. They do not know that by the swadhagatim, the ultimate goal of life, or their own real interest, that Vishnu, Lord Vishnu and his abode. That is the, but nate viduhu, they do not know. Because durasaya ye bahiradha maninaha, durasaya, because being ambitious to enjoy this material world, ye bahiradhamanaha, the external sense objects, bahihi adhamaninaha, considering as valuable. Okay, this is how the living entity uh, attracted to the material world. And adan again, andha yatandani, andha yatandhair upaniyamanaha, andhaha, again persons who are blind, yata andhaihi, and just as andaihi, by other blind men, upaniyamana, being led, upaniyamana. So all the nowadays it is addressing as the leaders or politicians like that. Anda yata andaihi upaniyamanaha. Te apishatantriyam gurudavni baddaha. Apishatantriyam. So all this, although Ishatantriyam, to the ropes of material nature, they are Urudavni Baddaha. They are very strongly bound. Ropes of material nature having very strong cords. Damni Baddaha. They are bound. It is very difficult for them to come out from such kind of attachments and entanglement. This is Burudamni Baddaha. Apishitantriyam Burudamni Baddaha. So Prahlad Maharaj is so compassionate. He is mentioning to Narsimhadev. So, and then further, whatever he is saying that Naisham Mati Tavad Urkramanghim until Tavad, until that point. So na Yesham, on all these things, no is not Yesham this, Matihi, the consciousness, Tavad Urkramangrim, and Tavad that long, Urkrama Angrim, the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is famous for performing uncommon activities. Sprushati anantapa, sprushati is that does touch. Anandhapagamo yadaddaha, yada addaha. Anandhapagamo. So anandhas of unwanted things, apagamaha, the disappearance, yadaddaha, and of which the purpose. Mahiyasam, Mahiyasam of those great souls are the souls, Mahatmas are the devotees who have surrendered themselves unto the Supreme Lord, already executing devotion. They are all Mahatmas. Mahesam Pada Rajobhishekam, until they touch the feet of the devotees of the Lord. Padarajobhishekam, by the dust of the lotus feet, Abhishekam and consecration. Nishkinchananam Navrunita Yavad, of the devotees who have nothing to do with this material world. Navrunita, they may accept, not, and Vrunita may accept Yavat as long as. So until they come to the devotees of the Lord, there is no chance for the materialistic people. They will still rot in the materialistic activities and then struggle for their existence. Okay, likewise, Prahlad Maharaj is glorifying Narsimhadev also. He is compassionate to the materialistic people. Okay, these very beautiful realizations by Prahlada's instructions for us. Persons who are determined to totally rot in the false material happiness cannot become Krishna minded, either by instructions from teachers or by self realization or by parliamentary discussion. They are dragged by the unbridled senses into the darkest region of ignorance, and thus they madly engage in what is called chewing the chewed. Okay? And because of their foolish activities, they are unaware that the ultimate goal of human life is to achieve Vishnu, the Lord of the cosmic manifestation. And so, the struggle for existence is in the wrong direction of material civilization, which is under the external energy. So when we see that to reflect, many people in Krishna consciousness as well, before they cross the line and enter into the Krishna conscious, their life is also, it was a different reflection in the materialistic way. But now once they cross that line and then executing devotional service in a steady manner, if they look back, whatever has happened, there is a purpose for it. Lord arranges for everything, either good or bad. Lord arranged those things. Otherwise, there is no scope that they would have been in the Krishna consciousness because they have accepted the things and then moved away from those things and entered into Krishna consciousness. So now they see a different reflections of the life through the scriptures. Shastra Chakshuhu. Now they are stable. Their consciousness is now stable and they are in the right path. That kind of assurance Lord is giving to all the devotees here. And people who are the materialistic side, still outside of the line, until they take the shelter of the devotees who are in the devotional service, they do not have any other options. All of their plans will be cut to the pieces. They are led by similar foolish persons, just as one blind man is led by another blind man, and both fall in the ditch. Such foolish men cannot be attracted towards the activities of the Supreme Powerful, who is actually the neutralizing measure for their foolish activities until they have good sense to be guided by the great souls who are completely freed from material attachments. So that's why one has to pray that I wanted to have the devotees association. तायेते साधवः साध्वी सर्वसङ्गविवर्जिताः सङ्घातेषु अदते प्राज्ञः सङ्गदोषहराहिते. And the devotees of the Lord, Tayete Sadhavaha Sadhvi, Kapil Bhagavan says to Devhuti Mata, Tayete Sadhavaha Sadhvi, Sarvasanga Vivajjitaha. They do not have any interest in the materialistic activities. That is sadhu. But people, Sangahateshu Achate Prajyaha, they need to pray for the association of such devotees association who are in the um, devotional service. Sangahateshu Achate Prajyaha, and by their association, what happens? Sangadosha Harahite. Whatever the false and sinful activities are happening in their life, that will be purified because of the sadhu's association. That is Prasangamajaram Pasham Atmanah Kavyo Viduhu. Sayeva Sadhushu Kurto Mokshadvaram Apavrutam. Mokshadvaram Apavrutam. When you have association with the sadhus, Mokshadvaram Apavrutam. It the door for immortality, it will be open. Immortality means once you leave this material body, you will be entering into the spiritual life, which is immortal. So here in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord asks everyone to give up all the occupational duties and absolutely engage in archana activities or in pleasing the Lord. One has to become manmana bhava mad bhaktaha madhyaji mam namaskuru mam yevasisi yuktaivam atmanam matparayanaha sarvadharman parityajya mam ekam saranam raja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshishyami masuchaha. This is Lord's instructions. And then one approaches the Lord, Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam Yomi Bhaktya Prayachati Tadaham Bhakti Upurtam Asnami Prahitatmanaha. So in such a way one can approach and render service to the Lord. As simple as that, leaving all other activities. It is only for the pleasure of the Lord. But almost no one is attracted to such archana activity. As we see, many people, as soon as they get a time, they go to some TVs and some entertainment things, something else, but they do not come to the temples that much easily. So here, everyone is more or less attracted by activities which are conditions of rebellion against the Supreme Lord. This is Uridavni Baddaha. They are conditioned by, they will be dragged by the materialistic nature. Who are against the Supreme Lord, they will be dragged by the materialistic nature. So the systems of jnana and yoga are also indirectly rebellious acts against the Lord. There is no auspicious activity except Archana of the Lord. Except the Archana of the Lord. This is the Pancharatra. Many people, why the people go to the temple and then come, even though they do not have much knowledge, but still they go to temple and then take a darshan and then come out. It is because all Archana's things happening in the temple. That is the most auspicious activity. So Jnana and Yoga are sometimes accepted within the purview of Archana when the ultimate aim is Vishnu and not otherwise. That's why Bhagavata Dharma, it is always going parallelly to the Archana Vigraha. And that's why Bhagavatam every day morning after the Mangalacharana Guru Puja, there is a Bhagavatam class happening in the temples and morning and also evening classes like that. So many lectures. It is to bring all the conditioned souls to the lotus feet of Krishna. Ultimate aim is Vishnu and not otherwise. So the conclusion is that only the devotees of the Lord are bona fide human beings eligible for salvation. Others are vainly struggling for existence without any actual benefit. Okay, it is a very beautiful sloka. Brahma is mentioning everyone's plans will be Sajjachinati Animishaya Namostu Tasmai. All of their plans will be cut to pieces. That will be they are struggling. Prakristadi Karshati Mamayavamsa Jivaloke Jivabhutaha Sanatanaha Manasastani Indriyani Prakristani Karshati, struggling for existence. Then this is because uh, mentioning here Vurdamni Bhaddaha. The Apisha Tantriyam Vurdamni Bhadda. It is strong cords. They are tied up by the strong cords. They cannot escape. That's why Mamcha yo avivicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samti chechen brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Then he will be by rendering the vigorous devotional service to Krishna. Avivichara bhakti yogena. Then Sagunan Samuti Chaitan, he will be able to cut the strong cords of the material nature. The what are strong cords? Goodness, passion, and ignorance of the three material modes of nature. So Samuti Chaitan, Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. Then he understands. He come to that Brahma Bodha stage. Later on, devotional, he engages himself in the pure devotional service gradually. So many angels are bringing conditioned soul to the lotus feet of the Lord to engage himself in the devotional service. Okay, it is very beautiful shloka. Can I request all devotees to follow line by line for this one, wherever it is possible? लोको विकर्मनिरतः कुशले प्रमत्तः
कर्म निरत कुशले प्रमत्ताः
कर्मण्ययं त्वदुदिते भवदर्चने स्वे
कर्मण्यं त्वदुदिते भवदर्चने स्वे
यस्तावदस्य बलवानिह जीवितासाम्
यस्तावदस्य बलवान् इह जीविताशाम्
सद्यः चिनत्ति अनिमिषाय नमोऽस्तु तस्मै
य अस्चिन्हति अनिमिषाय नमोऽस्तु तस्मै
once again लोको विकर्मनिरतः कुशले प्रमत्तः
लोको विकर्मनिरतः कुशले प्रमत्तः
कर्मण्ययं त्वदुदिते भवदर्चने स्वे
कर्मण्ययं त्वदुदिते भवदर्चने स्वे
यस्तावदस्य बलवानिह जीवितासाम्
यस्तावदस्य बलवान् इह जीविताशाम्
सद्यः चिनत्ति अनिमिषाय नमोऽस्तु तस्मै
तदस्य चिनोत्य अनिमिषाय नमोऽस्तु तस्मै
once more लोको विकर्मनिरतः कुशले प्रमत्तः
लोको विकर्मनिरतः कुशले प्रमत्ताः
कर्मण्यें त्वदुदिते भवदर्चने स्वे
कर्मण्येयं त्वदुदिते भवदर्चने स्वे
यस्तावदस्य बलवानिह जीवितासाम्
यस्तावदस्य बलवान् इह जीविताशाम्
सद्यः चिनत्ति अनिमिषाय नमोऽस्तु तस्मै
सद्यः चिन्ति अनिमेषाय नमोऽस्तु तस्मै
Very beautiful. I can request devotees, you kindly take a turns to recite. Prabhavati Sachimataji, would you like to go first?
Yeah, no problem, Prabhuji, I'll try. लोको विक लोको विकर्मनिरता कुशले प्रमत्तः कर्मण्ययं त्वदुदिते भवदर्चने स्वे यस्त्यावद् अस्य बलवान् इह जीविताशाम् सद्येष चिनत्ति अनिमिषाय नमोऽस्तु तस्मै
Very nice. Thank you, Mataji. Asha Mataji, please.
लोको विकर्मनिरता कुशले प्रमत्तः कर्मण्ययं तिवत् उदिदे भवत् अर्शनेने स्वे यस्यवत् अस्य बलवान् इह जीविताशाम् सत्यश्नन्ति अमिनिषाय नमोऽस्तु तस्मै
Very beautiful. Thank you, Mataji. Asha Mataji.
Yes, Hare Krishna. लोको विकर्मनिरतः कुशले प्रमत्तः कर्मण्ययं त्वदुदिते भवदर्चने यस्तावदस्य बलवानिह जीविताशां सत्यचिन्नते निमिषाय नमोऽस्तु तस्मै
Very beautiful. Thank you, Mataji. So this one again a number of times. I have not seen Prabhupada is quoting this one, but it is very important. It also a sense whenever someone is taking and hearing these instructions of Bhagavatam, it works as a tool, very powerful uh, shloka. All of their plans will be cut to pieces. लोको विकर्मनिरतः कुशले प्रमत्तः कर्मण्ययं त्वद्बुदिते भवदच्चने स्वे यस्तावदस्य बलवानिह जीविताशं सद्यः चिनत्ति अनिमिषाय नमोऽस्तु तस्मै. Very beautiful. Would you like to go once again? Prabhavati Sachimata, you want to do?
Yeah, okay, Prabhuji, it's a bit difficult. लोको विकर्म निरत कुशले प्रमत्तः कर्मण्ययं त्वात् उदिते भवद् अर्चने स्वे यस्तावद् यस्य बलवान् इह जीविताशां sadya sachin. How do you pronounce this? Is I find difficult, Prabhuji. Sadya chin.
This is we can suggest chinatti. It's a combined word, but
Okay.
what I do, I just split the word sadhyaha, sadhyaha,
Okay.
and I just mention
Chinanti. Okay. Okay,
sadhyaha.
Prabhuji. Sadhyah chinati animishaya namostu tasmai.
Very nice. You want to go do again, Mataji?
Yeah, loko vikarma nirata kushale pramattah कर्मण्ययं त्वादुदिते भवद् अर्चने स्वे यस्तावद् अस्य बलवान् इह जीविताशं सदस्य चिनत्ति अनिमिषाय नमोऽस्तु तस्मै.
Very beautiful. And sometimes we see some words like yes, tavad, asya. This is when we combine together. Yes, tavad, asya is combined word when it will become very beautiful sound. Yes, tavad, asya without taking breaks. Yes, tavad, asya. And then balavaniha. So here, balavaniha, only one word. But here, for to split in English for easy understanding. But when
I think
we
when we read in Hindi, I think that is bit better. I think so, no, Prabhuji? I
yeah,
think so.
sometimes. And here,
Sometimes not. Yeah.
whenever we take the big words, this one,
Yeah.
it is also coming Sajjaschinatyanamishaya. But when we do, it may be sometimes tricky also to pronounce. So at the
Yeah.
Sajjachinati animishaya, here I am splitting the words. Sajjachinati animishaya, namostu tasmai, namo astu tasmai. Again, to some namostu. Combinedly, it is a namostu. When we split namo astu tasmai, there is a the special apostrophe here. Astu tasmai, namostu tasmai. It comes in the proper sound. Thank you, Mataji. Asha Mataji,
Can I
would you
try,
like
Prabhu?
to? Yes, Mataji.
Okay, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. लोको विकर्म निरतः कुशले प्रमत्तः कर्माण्ययं तत्त्वदुदिते भवदर्शने स्वे यस्तावदस्य बलवानिह जीवितासां सद्यः चिन्नति यन्मिषाय नमोऽस्तु तस्मै. Sorry, Prabhu, I just tried again, Prabhu.
Very nice, Mataji. Sadhya Chinatti. It is the two T's are there.
Yeah.
Chinatti.
सद्यः चिन्नति यन्मिषाय नमोऽस्तु
Chinatti.
तस्मै. चिन्नति
Not Chinnati. Chinatti.
चिन्नति. Okay, Prabhu, I say one. Chinnati.
Chinatti.
Chinnati.
Natti.
Natti.
Yes,
Chinnati.
yes, Chinatti.
Chinnati.
Would you like to try, Mataji?
Okay. लोको विकर्मनिरतः कुशले प्रमत्तः कर्माण्ययं त्वदुदिते. So when you Prabhu say together, he said त्वदुदिते.
Yeah, this is Twadbudite.
त्वदुदिते कर्माण्ययं त्वदुदिते भवदर्शने स्वे यस्तावदस्य मनवान् इह जीविताशां सद्यः चिन्नति निमिषाय नमोऽस्तु तस्मै. चिन्नति सद्यः चिन्नति
Yeah.
निमिषाय
When we combine here, Chinatya Nimshaya Tasmai. Chinatya Animi.
चिन्नति निमिषाय तस्मै.
Yes. When we split, it is
When you go in the flow, Prabhu, then सद्यः चिन्नति निमिषाय नमोऽस्तु तस्मै.
here when we see here Hindi words,
Mhm.
Chinat, this is Yanimishaya, likewise. Because it is splitting here, we see alpha is better. Animishaya.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu.
Very beautiful. Thank you, Mataji. Asha Mataji, would you like to go?
Try लोहो विकर्मनिरता कुशले प्रमत्तः कर्मणि अयम्तिवत् उदिते पवत् अर्शने स्वे यशावतस्य बलवानिह जीविताशां शत्यशिनत्तीयमिनिशाय नमो अस्तु तस्मै.
Very beautiful. You want to do it again, Mataji?
Okay. लोहो विकर्मनिरता कुशले प्रमत्तः कर्मणि अयम्तिवत् उदिते भवत् अर्शने स्वे यशावतस्य बलवान् इह जीविताशां शत्यशिनत्यभिनिशाय नमोऽस्तु तस्मै. Sorry for the word.
Very good. Very nice. Thank you, Mataji. Would you like to read translation, Mataji?
People in general all engage in foolish acts, not in the really beneficial activities enunciated directly by you for their guidance. As long as their tendency for foolish work remains powerful, all their plans in the struggle for existence will be cut to pieces. I therefore offer my obeisances unto him who acts as eternal time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Srimad Bhagavatam, page
Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, just wanted to ask you one thing. This Pancharatrika Vidhi means in ISKCON temple in the morning, like Mangalarati, Guru
Yes.
Ashtaka, Narsimha prayer, and all the stuff. Five items. Is that the one, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji. So in the Pancharatri Vidhi, so the instructions to deity worship, how to nicely dress the deities, and then how to prepare the food, washing their body properly, entering into the kitchen, prepare all items, and what are the ingredients to be used, and put it in a nice plate and bring to the deities, and then cover with the clothing, and then
Okay. Okay.
to the Lord,
Okay.
and then
Thank you,
giving all the lamp offerings, so incense sticks, and then give lamp offerings like that.
Prabhuji.
Tamara.
Okay, that means it's not just five. It's all the whole total
Yes,
Vidhi.
total. Yes, the total.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
And Guru Vastakam, these things, it is also Bhagavata Dharma. So the Archana is to the deities, worshipping deities. And singing here, it is also inclusive of Bhagavata Dharma, glorifying our spiritual master and glorifying the Lord and kirtans.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, we shall move into Srila Prabhupada's daily letter. Today letter to Upendra, January 27th, 1971, Allahabad. Usha Mataji, would you like to read this letter?
Okay. My dear, sorry, Baba. My dear Upendra, please accept my blessing. I beg to acknowledge the receipt of your two letters dated 16th and 17th Narayana 484 along with enclosure of pictures and new clippings. I am so pleased to see you and your good wife in every picture in different poses of preaching work. That is real Krishna consciousness service to preach the message of the holy name to all persons. and they appear to be all responding very enthusiastically to, to your preaching. That is very good sign. If you remain pure and enthusiastic, you will have the spiritual strength to ensure others with the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra and develop devotional service to the Lord. I am a little concerned, however, that you are being somewhat harassed in your activities by these so-called swamis. But do not be discouraged by their foolish talkings. We have got more important business. We do not judge the man by his dress, so we are not concerned with the colors of our clothes as much as we are concerned to keep our conduct on the plane of pure spiritual life. Our Krishna consciousness is practically being accepted by all kinds of persons all over the world, and there is no discrimination of type of dress. Generally, grihasthas wear white for the men and colorful saris for the women. While performing sacrifices, etc., they may wear yellow clothes, uh, which is considered auspicious. But you are always engaged in such religious activity in direct service of the transcendental Lord. So yellow garments are not inappropriate. In India, our household devotee men are all wearing white clothes and they all look very, very nice. You can do also if you like. I'm so glad to hear that the people are eager to have more opportunity to Krishna consciousness. I would also very much like to travel there, but I do not know what arrangements you can make to bring us there. Please keep me informed of our progressive activities and may Krishna bless you more and more with increased intelligence for spreading his movement. Hope this will meet you in good health. Your ever well wisher, A.C. Patredan Swami. Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai. Thank you, Mataji. Any takeaway points, Mataji? So I think this one is Allahabad. It is
Uh,
easy.
okay. Okay, Upendra. So Prabhupada is writing to Upendra. Uh, may, he is talking about the preaching work, and he said he's very pleased to see him and the wife, good wife, in picture in different post preaching work. So they are preaching very nicely, and the Prabhupada is very happy too about that. He's spreading Krishna consciousness service and preaching very nicely. So that they are very enthusiastic to uh, put themselves in the Krishna consciousness service and the devotional service. And that he Prabhupada said that he is little concerned about that so-called swamis, like they maybe might discourage him to talking about the foolish things. So then Prabhupada said we don't have to go in this, but we have other important business like to spread the Krishna consciousness. So we can't judge them by their clothes. When the people are wearing that like saffron clothes, as a so-called swami sometimes. So Prabhupada said, don't go with that about whatever they're wearing, but in our things, when the grihasthas wear a white clothes and men, and then women can wear that colorful saris. And when is any sacrifice, that yellow or color cloth is good. So that is the thing, and yes, so that Prabhupada said you are doing very nicely. The householders, the devotees, the colors he is mentioning, and he said, you are that the people are very eager to more opportunity for Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada said, I'm so glad, and that I don't know how to you can arrange me to come over there. So maybe Prabhupada wants to go to Allahabad, and he's asking Pendra how to go. So he has a takeover Prabhu is that like when the main thing is the so-called Swamis, they do not go by the clothes, and then they joking foolishly. So just going focus on the Krishna consciousness, and yes, it's just the main thing. Prabhu. Yeah. So yes, Prabhu, that is the my takeaway. So that color, and then Grihasthas can wear men can wear white, and the women can wear a colorful saree.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Okay, nicely explained. Thank you so much. Okay, any other comments, dear devotees, you wanted to add in this one? Prabhavati Sachi Mataji, you wanted to add any point? Asha Mataji?
No problem. Mataji has explained very well, so I understood everything.
Thank you, Mataji. Prabhavati Mataji?
Sorry, it's really very clear, Prabhuji. I think nothing much to say.
Okay, thank
Prabhupada has given clear instructions of, when people are being harassed, we shouldn't be worried. So the people may talk anything, but we have to keep going. And the color or whatever, it doesn't matter, as Mataji explained very well, everything nicely. So our focus should be to spreading the Krishna consciousness movement. I think that's what I get it with this Prabhuji. Preaching work is very important. As Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita 69, chapter 18, 69 verse, Krishna likes those devotees who try to spread the Krishna, whatever message he has given. I think that is what I can take from this, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, thank
you, Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So here, Prabhupada here, first point is the enthusiasm. Again, that is needed in all times and circumstances. Enthusiasm. So if we look back, those devotees during those times, they all are working so hard with so much of enthusiasm. So much of enthusiasm. That is the energy in Krishna consciousness. But whenever the spiritual process goes, persons who are equipped with all the knowledge and coming to the deity worship, who are just in the temple based, now all of their senses calm down. Generally, if you look at the Vrindavana, most of the people, they're all calming down. They're in the old ages and then calming down themselves and simply going to the temple and do bhajans and then come home. And in such a way, they lead the life. Not much enthusiasm there because they're calming down, retracting all of their senses from the materialistic activities simply in the devotional service. But here, the young disciples of Srila Prabhupada, they're in engages so enthusiasm and then entering into the materialistic peoples to spread Krishna consciousness, injecting Krishna consciousness, injecting the medicine to the materialistic people who are diseased for the sense gratification things. Okay, that is how it was so powerful. But here, Prabhupada is encouraging that kind of enthusiastic preaching is needed. And then further, about this one, there are, whenever Krishna consciousness preaching is going on, there are so many impediments, obstacles keep coming, but one must be tolerating those things. tolerate, and also not discouraged by those foolish talkings. Sometimes they will come and they will somewhere or other speak something against our preaching. But we do not speak unnecessarily based on our thoughts, our opinions, assumptions, not like that. Based completely on the scriptural point of view. But they may be speaking on the strength of dress or something like that, as a kind of a smart or something like that. But we are not nothing to do with such kind of things. We do not judge the man by his dress. We are not concerned with the color of our cloth as much as we are concerned to keep our conduct on the plane of pure spiritual life. This is very important. Conduct on the plane of pure spiritual life, not based on the dress or family parampara, something like that. It is based on the pure spiritual life. What is pure spiritual life is following four regulative principles, chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra 16 rounds daily, associating with the devotees, equipped with the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, study, knowledge, and then engaging oneself in the devotional service, in the deity worship. So those are all pure spiritual life. No more interest in the materialistic enjoyment. But people who are dressed themselves sometimes in the yellow dress or saffron dress, but still they have got some kind of sense gratificatory things. And Prabhupada mentions what is their value, having disguising themselves. So, like once Lord Brahma, he instructed Prithu Maharaj, saying that Indra has come in the disguising himself in the sannyasi appearance, and he has stole the sacrificial horse, stopping you perform your sacrifice, horse sacrifice. Now he has introduced so many other things. It will spread in this material world. So many people will come. Oh Prithu, now you need to stop all those activities. So instead, you would commit to perform this sacrifice, Ashwamedha Yajna. It is better you stop this. Otherwise, Indra will find so many other ways to stop your sacrifice. Already he has done so many things. Now, stop. Kindly do not perform Ashwamedha Yajna. Instead, you concentrate on the already adharma introduced by Indra. So that one, so many people they come disguising themselves as a sannyasis, but they do not follow four regulative principles and chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and they do not keep up to the instructions given by Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So here, a intelligent person, he and either intelligent or foolish, as long as he speaks, he does not speak. He is always covered. If he speaks, he is uncovered, whether he is a foolish or intelligent. Okay, Prabhupada says that one. Okay, so we do not worry about the dresses as well. So again, Prabhupada mentions that if you wanted to have yellow dress is fine, but generally Gurhastas wear white dress. So you can wear white dress as it is appropriate. It looks very nice, Prabhupada. You can also do if you like a white dress for the Gurhastas. Some of the brahmacharis, in order to progress, their purpose is to distribute the books and preach Krishna consciousness. So they accept some of yellow dress, something like that, as a intermediate. It's not saffron and also not white. And then in that level, so they accept for the preaching purposes. So this is gradual elevation from, but once he accepts the yellow saffron dress, then he cannot go back. So there is a lots of respect for the saffron dress as well. One who is renouncing the activities of material world, that is saffron dress. And one must be very careful before accepting saffron dress. Okay, so that is from Prabhupada's letter, and from the announcements point of view. Today evening we have got Chaitanya Charitamrita at 7 p.m. with Krishna Keshav Prabhuji. And today, Pawan Prabhuji is going to host our evening session as a beginning, just to drive the session. But all devotees, volunteers will be reciting as it is. But for the recitation, allocated devotees will recite, and for everything, volunteers. So kindly help and cooperate, Pawan Prabhuji. Okay, that is his first time. That is from the announcement side from me, and also there are so many other temple activities are going on, and I request the devotees kindly update if you are aware of those things. Hare Krishna.
Today is Gita Jayanti, Prabhuji. They are celebrating. I think you may be knowing already. And many devotees are going to the temple. It starts at, I think, recitation starts at 8:30, 9 o'clock. Yeah, it's very nice. I'd been to temple yesterday. Sham Prabhu was so nicely, doing the kirtan, and he was announcing. It was very nice to see him. And temple was really packed up. I was surprised. Even it was bank holiday yesterday, and afternoon arati. It was fully packed up. There was no place even. So it was so amazing. Very nice, Prabhuji.
Very beautiful. Thank you, Mataji, for the update. So Gita Jayanti festivals are going on. Any other updates?
I have to leave early, Prabhuji. I'll just try a little bit. Thank you so much.
Yeah, sure, Mataji. Okay, so if you're happy, then we shall move to the next is Brahma Samhita. So today we will simply touch the next shloka. In the Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma, we are in the Sri Brahma Samhita, 5th chapter, and shloka number 22 in the last session. It is a small shloka, only we touch it there. एवं सर्वात्मसंबंधं नाभ्यं पद्मं हरेरभूत् तत्र ब्रह्मोद्भूयश्च चतुर्वेदी चतुर्मुखः. And where this is about Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. So here in that sequence of Brahma Samhita, it starts from the Krishna and also Golok Vrindavan. Further, it is about the entire creation, Mahavishnu, and Mahavishnu, he creates one more Brahma, Hiranyagarbha Brahma, Vishnu, and Shambhu, three are the prototype, the demigods. They will inject their potencies to the all other universes. And from the body of Vishnu, so many universes are coming, and from each universe is enveloped by the Mahatattva, forms 7 layers on top of each and every universe. And here, universes coming from the Mahavishnu's body is pure spirit souls, but those spirit souls come in contact with the Mahatattva, enveloped by the 7 layers of earth, water, fire, wind, and then space, Mahatattva, and those the false ego, those 7 layers. And then, in due course of time, that each universe will be matured like a proper egg, Brahmanda. And then within that, Lord enters, Vishnu enters, the prototype Vishnu who was created by Mahavishnu from his left limb. That Vishnu enters as a Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu into this universe. And then he stays there for 1,000 yuga cycles. And in due course of time, all these living entities within the body of Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. And it is turning Lokan Apitan Dadrushe Swadehe. They are turning into bluish colors. It is the time for them to come out and then perform karmic activities. By the time Shushan Tada Bijjata Nabhideshat. Shushan Tada Bijjata Nabhideshat. So the lotus flower, it emanates from the navel of Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. And where Brahma comes from that lotus flower, and then later on, this is what Tatra Brahma Bhuyasha Bhuyaha Chaturvedi Chaturmukha. That Brahma, he's got 4 heads in our universe. Now, it has come from Krishna and then further creation Mahavishnu and Garbhodak Sai Vishnu. Now coming to the Chaturmukha Brahma. Chaturmukha Brahma, he receives his potency from Hiranyagarbha Brahma. Hiranyagarbha Brahma is created by Mahavishnu. Chaturmukha Brahma is coming from the Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. in our universe. Okay, this one it was covered in the last session. So the divine lotus, which springs from the navel pit of Vishnu, is in every way related by the spiritual tie with all souls and is the origin of four-faced Brahma versed in the four Vedas. Okay, this is our universe. Now we shall move to the next shloka. So here it is. What is going to be Brahma's activities further. So on coming out of the lotus, Brahma, being guided by the divine potency, turned his mind to the act of creation under the impulse of previous impressions, but he could see nothing but darkness in every direction. Okay, so this is what we are going to see. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
We were not able to hear you. Are you there?
Yes, Mataji. So yeah, I'm just looking.
Okay, sorry.
So just looking for the Brahma Samhita, which is that book. I'm just trying to see that in a different Telugu language, Mataji. So I'm just that one to explain it a bit.
Okay, Prabhuji. Sorry.
So here in this particular shloka, okay, so here, Sanjato Bhagavat Shaktiya Tatkalam Kila Choditaha Sisrukshaya Matin Chakre Pura Samskara Samskritaha Dadarsh Kevalam Bhantam Nanyat Kim Api Sarvataha. So this one here. So Sajato Bhagavad Chakya Tatkalam Kila Choditaha Sisrukshaya Matim Chakre Pura Samskara Samskritaha Dadarsha Kevalam Bhantam Nanyat Kimapi Sarvataha. So here Sanjataha, on being born from the lotus flower, Lord Brahma, Bhagavad Shaktya, by the divine potency, Tat Kalam Kila Choditaha, and at that time, Kila indeed Choditaha, being guided, Sisrukshayam Matim Chakre, to the acts of creation, and Matim, his mind, Chakre, he turned. Sisrukshayam Matim Chakre, he wanted to create. His mind is thinking to create. Now that we have seen in the Brahma is offering his praise to the Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. So it for his creative power. Now here, Sisrukshayam Matim Chakre, he wanted to create. His mind is thinking to create. Now, Matim Chakre Pura Samskara Samskritaha. Pura Samskara Samskritaha. Under the impulse of the previous impressions. So Lord Brahma, what happens to him? So every day he comes out the lotus flower and then he performs the meditation and then he praises the Lord for his creative power and then he creates so many of the demigods like starting from the four Kumaras and Rudra like Prajapatis and then the day continues. At the end of the day, dissolution happens again. This lotus flower possibly goes back into the Lord's body again. Okay, that what again whenever he comes, this is those things are happening under the impulse of previous impressions. Under the impulse of previous impressions. And then what he is saying, Dadarsha Kevalam Bhantam. Dadarsha, he saw Kevalam only darkness. Dvantam. Dadarsha Kevalam Bhantam. Nanyat Kimapi Sarvataha. Nanyat. Nothing else. Nanyat Kimapi, anything. Sarvataha, in every direction. He does not see anything else. That is, Brahma is watching. So whenever he has in the Brahma Samhita, in the 8th chapter of third canto, when we see there he was searching for in all four directions, he could not see. So these four heads got formed. Maitreya Muni says to Vidura, and then later on he searches through the lotus flower, goes down to the stem of the lotus flower to see if there is some source, some base there. And then, but though he goes to the navel of Garbhodak Sai Vishnu, he could not find anything. And then he returned back. By the time his time is getting over, so he returned back to his lotus flower again, sitting in the meditation. And then he would say, Tad Antradaya Avbhatam Apasyata Apasyata Yenna Purvam. Whatever he could not see before, now he is able to see in the meditation. Okay, so at the moment, Brahma is saying there is nothing in the four directions. He simply sit on the lotus flower. Okay, can I request Gauringa Mataji, would you like to read the translation and purport, Mataji, please? If you are available. Okay, any other devotees, please?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Translation. On coming out of the lotus, Brahma, being guided by the divine potency, turned his mind to the act of creation under the under the impulse of previous impressions. But he could not see nothing but darkness in every direction. Purport by Jivan Garsila Prabhupada ki jai. Brahma's impulse for creation arises solely from his previous impressions. All jivas get their nature comfortably to their impressions of previous births, and accordingly their activities can have a beginning. It is called the unseen, or the result of one's previous deeds. His natural impulse is formed according to the nature of the deeds done by him in the previous kalpa. Some of the eligible jivas also attain to the office of Brahma in this way. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Jai. Thank you, Mataji. So this is the Kalena Karma Pratibodhanena Surochisa Yat Sarilam Vishalam. This is again just if we just go to align all those descriptions according to Brahma Samhita in the angle of Brahma Samhita. So it is so beautiful again coming in a different angles. The same shlokas are there when in a different angles we enter into that pastimes. So here Tasmad Yukanta Swasnavadhurna Jhalormichakra Siladbhirodham Upasitam Kanjimulokadatum Natmanamadha Avidad Adidevaha. So he could not perfectly understand the creation, the lotus, or himself. At the end of the millennium, the age of devastation began to move the water and the lotus in circular waves. Okay, and then what he did? So okay, let me just go to a little bit of previous lokas here. So this is Sapadbhakoshaha Sahasodatitat Kalena Karma Pratibodhanena Swarochishat Sarilam Vishalam Vijyotayanarka Yavatma Yonihi. So passing through this sum total form of the fruitive activity of the living entities took the shape of the bud of lotus flower generated from the personality of Vishnu. So this is sum total of form of the fruitative activity of the living entities took the shape of the bud of lotus flower generated from the personality of Vishnu. And by the supreme will, it illuminated everything like the sun and dried up the vast waters of devastation. This is again, if we look back here in the Brahma Samhita, uh, this purport is given by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami and Jiva Goswami purports. Okay. Brahma's impulse for creating arises solely from his previous impressions. Kalena karma pradibodhanena. Brahma is the one of the topmost jiva. So all jivas get their nature comfortably to their impressions of previous birth, and accordingly their activity can have a beginning. So this is yesterday we have performed some activities. If we go to the work, some work might be in the middle. If it is a big project, I might have done yesterday up to some progress. And the next day we go to the sleep, again wake up and then start continuing the whatever the project work is remain. And then we come little bit progress and then come home at the end of the day. Similarly, this is the nature according to their activity can have a beginning based on the previous impressions and impressions of previous births. The similar that is our project work we know because of we are sleeping, that doesn't mean that the project work has completed or finished. We will come to the office or to the work and then continue the rest of the work as much as possible. If I'm able to finish all the project within a day, well done. You did the job. So project is finished. Now everything is happy. Similarly, the living entity here, if he finish up with all his materialistic activities, coming to lotus feet of the Lord, and there is full stop to the horrible works of the material world. He will go back to the abode of the Lord, back to Godhead, back to home, Godhead. So here it is called the unseen or the result of one's previous deeds. His natural impulse is formed according to the nature of the deeds done by him in the previous kalpa. Some of the eligible jivas also attain to the office of Brahma in this way. A good word is also used, office of Brahma in this way. Like Narada Muni, he was the son of Brahma as well before. And then later on, he was cursed by Brahma, and then he became a Gandharva as a Upabarhana, married to 50 wives, beautiful wives again. And those, when he was enjoying, again he was left his body, and again Kalavati, I think it is not Kalavati, I think sorry, Leelavati, something like that. So one of his wife, she wanted her husband to be back again. Uh, Again, she made revived him, again lived with him happily. Later on, he took a birth as a son of a maid servant. Again, later on, with the association of the devotees, actually Bhakti Vedantis, in the Brahma Vayavata Mahapurana, it is mentioned those Vedantis are actually the four Kumaras. He served them very nicely, and then when they were leaving, Pravochantam Gamishantaha, they are Dhenavachalaha. They are Dhenavachalaha. So they have spoken Sakshat Bhagavatoditam, whatever the Lord spoke in this Srimad Bhagavatam about the transcendental knowledge, they spoke all Bhagavatam to Narada Muni. And then that son of a maid servant, he immediately he took that knowledge, and then later in due course of time, his mother passed away by the that serpent bite. And then he took that opportunity, taking that as a blessing of the Lord, and then he left that place and traveling in a further north direction. And then he meditated himself in the Supreme Personality of Godhead as it was exactly spoken by the Bhaktivedantis. And then he was able to see in a glimpse, and later on, Lord disappeared from his vision, and Lord spoke to him that until one is completely purified, he cannot get a chance to see the Lord. And then Narada Muni took these instructions later on throughout his life, keep singing the glories of the Lord. And in the next day of Brahma, he has appeared as again son of Brahma. Okay, so that is past times of Narad. So everything, it is a previous work based on the previous deeds. And then he became a son of Brahma again. Likewise, they have many people, all the living entities, they have got previous work. In the coming to here, in the what is, so Chitrigādam Sahasramapsu Swapan Swaya Udiritaya Swasikya Kalakya the Karma Tantro Lokanapitan Dadrushe Swadehe. Lokanapitan Dadrushe Swadehe. And the because Prabhupada here described the Lord lay down for 1,000 yuga cycles. Okay, can I request any other devotee to read translation and purport, please? Asha Mataji, would you like to go?
Krishna. Translation. The Lord lay down for 1,000 cycles of 4 yugas in his internal potency, and by his external energy he appeared to be sleeping within the water. When the living entities were coming out for further development of their fruitive activities, actuated by the energy called Kala Shakti, he saw his transcendental body as blush, purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In the Vishnu Purana, Kala Shakti is mentioned as avidya. The symptom of the influence of the Kala Shakti is that one has to work in the material world for fruitive results. The fruitive workers are described in Bhagavad Gita as mudas. Mudas, like fools, Prabhu.
Yes.
Or foolish. Such foolish living entities are very enthusiastic to work for some temporary benefit within perpetual bondage. One thinks himself very clever throughout his life if he is able to leave behind him a great asset of wealth for his children. And to achieve this temporary benefit, he takes the risk of all sinful activities without knowledge that such activities will keep him perpetually bound by the shackles of material bondage. Due to this polluted mentality and due to material sins, the aggregate combination of living entities appear to be bluish,
Bluish.
such as, sorry, Prabhu?
Bluish.
Bluish, okay, such as impetuous of activity for fruitive, fruitive result is made possible by the dictation of the external energy of the Lord, Kala.
Thank you, Mataji. So just I was focusing on the Lord's body is turning into the bluish color because due to the polluted mentality and due to material sins, an aggregate combination of living entities appear to be bluish. This is a living entities condition. Gayatri Mataji and the other day was asking why living entities are bluish. Sometimes when the because of her presence, Lord body is turning bluish, something like that. The Lord's body is a it is a shama color, but whereas the living entities they are because of their polluted mentality, it is due to material sins, aggregate combination of living entities appear to be bluish. The such an impetus of activity for fruit is made possible by the dictation of the external energy of the Lord Kala. Okay. So whenever that time is Kala kya the karma tantra lokana pitan dadushe swadehe. This is Kala Shakti, actuated by the energy called Kala Shakti. And then the Lord saw his transcendental body as bluish, because all the living entities, they are in the body of Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. Okay, so now coming to Brahma Samhita here. So these living entities, they will continue their or fruitive activities as soon as they come out from the novel of Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. So here Brahma has come in the beginning as the first living entity, and then he engaged himself. For example, how do we, if a person going, for example, I'm just trying to find in my research, I'm going for some kind of expedition. I found a very nice island, and then it is so beautiful, and I make everything. And what I will do, I will take all my friends and family and the relatives, everything, and then establish there, make business and everything. So things will go on and enjoy. But initially, I have found the first person. So likewise, Brahma has come from the novel of Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, meditated himself, and then now for the creation. So once this creation is successful, so his meditation was successful, and he was able to see the Lord. Lord gave benedictions to him, and then he created this universe, and he all giving an opportunity for all the living entities to execute their fruitive activities. Like we go into the island and then bring all family members and then make the business there. So engage themselves in the different kinds of activities. Likewise. Now, some of the eligible jivas also attain to the office of Brahma in this way. Okay, according to the previous karma. Okay, I request the devotees, if you have got any questions or you wanted to share anything here on this context, kindly ask questions or kindly share.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
So when somebody is attaining Brahmaloka, for example, after we leave the body, is there any chance to go to Goloka Vrindavan from there, or they have to come back again?
So once they go to the Brahmaloka, because of the association of the highly souls, uh, here Sukadeva Goswami says what happens to them. So he says that living entities who have attained, they will go from there to the abode of the Lord later on. So Sukadeva Goswami says it's a gradual process. I think here it is somewhere Sukadeva Goswami speaks on that living entities, how they will travel. I think, let me just. Not in here, and maybe the second chapter. So here he mentions that particular statement, the living entities who has attained. So here says, O king, if a yogi maintains desire for improved material enjoyments, like transfer to the topmost planet Brahmaloka or the achievement of the eightfold perfections, travel in outer space with the uh, Vaihayas or situation in one of the millions of planets, then he has to take away with him the materially molded mind and senses. And then further, this gradual elevation of themselves from Earth to the higher planetary systems. And then further, he describes that Satyaloka and people, they will stay there in Satyaloka. And then in the planet of Satyaloka, there is neither bereavement, nor old age, nor death. There is no pain of any kind. and therefore there are no anxieties save that sometimes due to consciousness. There is a feeling of compassion for those unaware of the press of devotional service, who are subjected to unsurpassable miseries in the material world. After reaching Satyaloka, the devotee is specifically able to be incorporated fearlessly by the subtle body in an identity similar to that of the grass body, and one after another, he gradually attains stage of existence from earthly to the watery, fiery, glowing, and airy until he reaches the ethereal stage. The devotee thus surpasses subtle objects of different senses like aroma by smelling, the palate by tasting, vision by seeing forms, touch by contacting, the vibrations of the ear by ethereal identification, and the sense organs by material activities. So here, uh, it's a gradual step by step going. He comes to the point of pure realization. So he is crossing again, devotee thus surpassing the gross and subtle forms of coverings. These are the coverings of the universe. Enters the plane of egoism, and in that status, he merges the material modes of nature, ignorance and passion in this point of neutralization, and thus reaches egoism in goodness. After this, all egoism is merged in the Mahatattva, and he comes to the point of pure self realization. Only the purified soul can attain the perfection of association with the personality of Godhead in complete bliss and satisfaction in his constitutional state. Whoever is able to renovate such devotional perfection is never again attracted by the material world, and he never returns. So, this is the once he goes to the Brahma Loka, and then he further gradually elevates himself to the spiritual planet.
Okay, Prabhuji. I mean, that means it's guaranteed, yeah?
It is
Maybe.
yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
So guaranteed as long as he is progressing in the spiritual life. Again, if he goes and he performs any mistakes there, like for example, if Shantanu and Ganga Devi, Shantanu was attracted in the previous life towards Ganga Devi's body. So they have come to this earth and then taken birth. But one must be maintaining that pure life.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. It's a very nice question. So, okay, any other questions? Garangi Mataji, you want to add anything, Mataji? Okay, so this is this particular shloka. Let us not progress because of devotees' limited access availability. I request devotees to take a turn to this, recite this particular shloka for now, and then we stop there. Okay. So can you follow behind me line by line? So first I recite, and then later you will follow line by line with me. स जातो भगवच्चक्य तत्कालं किल चोदितः शिश्रुक्षाय मतिं चक्रे पूर्वसंस्कारसंस्कृतः ददर्श केवलं ध्वान्तं नान्यत् किमपि सर्वतः. Okay. The devotees follow line by line. स जातो भगवच्चक्त्या
Sajato
जातो
Bhagavatyakya
तत्कालं किल चोदितः
Tatkalam
तत्कालं किल
Kila Jyotaha
चोदितः
शिश्रुक्षाय मतिं चक्रे
Siskasamatinka
पूर्वसंस्कारसंस्कृतः
Purva Samskara Samskritaha
ददर्श केवलं ध्वान्तम्
अदर्श केवलं
Kevalam Dvantam
नान्यत् किमपि सर्वतः.
नान्यत् किमपि
Api Sarvataha
सर्वतः.
स जातो भगवच्चक्त्या
सजातो
भगवच्चर्या
तत्कालं किल चोदितः
तत्कालं किल चोदितः
शिश्रुक्षायं मतिं चक्रे
शुश्रूषायं मदिं चक्रे
चक्रे
पूर्वसंस्कारसंस्कृतः
पूर्वसंस्कारसङ्ग्रहः
ददर्श केवलं ध्वान्तं
ददर्श केवलं दान्वं
नान्यत् किमपि सर्वतः
नान्यत् किम् अभिशर्वतः
Once more. सजातो भगवच्चक्या
सजातो भगवच्चर्या
तत्कालं किल चोदितः
तत्कालं किल चोदितः
शिश्रुक्षायं मतिं चक्रे
शुश्रूषायं मदिं चक्रे
पूर्वसंस्कारसंस्कृतः
पूर्वसंस्कारसंस्कृतः
ददर्श केवलं ध्वान्तं
ददर्श केवलं दान्वं
नान्यत् किमपि सर्वतः
नान्यत् किम् अभिशर्वतः
Very nice. Okay, can I request the devotees kindly take a turns to recite? Usha Mata.
ओके हरे कृष्ण सजातो भगवच्चर्या तत्कालं शिलचोदितः शिश्रुक्षयां मतिं चक्रे पूर्वसंस्कारसंस्कारः ददर्श केवलं ध्वान्तं नान्यत् किम् अपि सर्वतः
Very nice.
ददर्श केवलं हरे कृष्ण
Thank you, Mataji. Prabhavati Saji Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभुजी सजातो भगवच्चक्त्या तत्कालं किल चोदितः शिश्रूक्षयं मतिं चक्रे पूर्वसंस्कारसंस्कृतः ददर्श केवलं द्वान्तं नान्यत् किमपि सर्वतः Thank you.
Very beautiful. Thank you, Mataji. Asha Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु सजातो भगवते स या तत्कालं किल चोदितः शुश्रूषायं मदिं चक्रे पूर्वसंस्कारसंस्कृतः ददाश्का केवलं द्वान्दं नान्यत् किम् अभिसर्वतः
Very beautiful. Thank you, Mataji. Garingi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Okay. Sanjato Bhagavata Chakdyu Tatkalam Kila Chodita Siskraksham Matim Chakri Purava Samaskara Samkritaha Dadarsa Kevalam Dabyantam Nanyat Kimapi Sarvataha. Hare Krishna.
Very beautiful. Thank you, Mataji. Would you like to read the translation, Mataji? Garingi Mataji.
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. On coming out of the lotus, Brahma, being guided by the divine potency, turned his mind to the act of creation under the impulse of previous impressions. But he could see nothing but darkness in every direction. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji.
Very good. Thank you, Mataji. So this is the situation of Brahma. So here in the next shloka, it will go into the, we don't go into here, so just what it is going to be. There is a Saraswati come into the picture. Saraswati is the divine consort of the Lord. Okay, so then the goddess of learning Saraswati, the divine consort of Supreme Lord, said thus to Brahma, who saw nothing but gloom in all directions. O Brahma, this mantra is Klim Krishnaya Govindaya Gopi Janavallabhaya Swaha. will assuredly fulfill your heart's desire. So this is Saraswati Devi. So here divine Saraswati from the spiritual world and the Saraswati in the material world. Sometimes there might be some kind of conceptions. Who is Saraswati? So Saraswati is the divine concept of the Lord in the spiritual world and Saraswati Devi in the material world. That pastimes are different. Spiritual world is different, material world is different. But when the name appears to be same, we should not get confused about it. Okay, so this one goes in the next, but we will cover this one in the next week. So for now, I shall stop. I request if dear devotees, if you have any questions, kindly ask. Anything to share, kindly share. Anything striking your mind, kindly share that one. Okay, if there are no questions, then we shall conclude for today and continue with japa. Okay, thank you so much, dear devotees. Shall
Thank you,
conclude.
Prabhu, for like, even though we are short, but you still. Thank you, Prabhu, for your time. Very much.
Thank you, Mataji. Vancha
Thank
kalpa.
you, Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna, Hare
वासुदेवशयेव
Krishna,
पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंतकोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की
Hare
जय
Krishna,
everyone.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
हरे कृष्ण
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत